Okay, now we need to complete this part. Today we'll finish this chapter. Okay, now please see this point. Why should we study the beginning and growth of sociology in Europe? Now, related to this particular topic, UPSC did ask question: modernity emerged only first and only in Europe. Okay, and it was for 10 marker, and I do not think so that most of the aspirants could write correctly. So there are multiple meanings of modernity, and I do not think so with taking that point and saying that how we can have different notions and meaning on modernity, we cannot say that it only emerged in Europe. Okay, and is it the only last part? Definitely not. But however, you can say that if we are considering modernity with technological changes or industrialization, definitely it emerged in Europe, in Britain particularly. Okay, so sometime we are getting questions on Europe centric point. So Europe centric point पे we are going to get a question. So that is why हमको काफी deeper way में पढ़ना चाहिए यूरोप का history. It is वैसे भी very much helpful for us for having overall understanding for your civil services का part. International relation में वो भी पहले भी मैं explain कर चुकी हूँ. Let's understand what NCERT is saying on this. So if you read this work, this paragraph, you will see that sociology is most of the time talking about the changes which happened in Europe with respect to 18th and 19th century. So capitalism and industrialization. Then you are getting urbanization, and in Indian context, when you are talking about, it is with colonial past. Okay? Now, what you people have to write sidewise in your book? We must know about Europe. Okay? So there are different viewpoints. There's Europe-centric views. Okay? Then there is, I would say, history of Europe, multiple modernities, etc. that we are referring. Now, this paragraph is actually telling us this multiple modernities, history of Europe, European narratives on modernity, European narratives on modernity. Okay? Now, that paragraph which I have just read from NCERT, it is simply asking a question: why Europe? Then you people please write down that one question, and I'm telling you that even if you're going to scroll different websites, and these websites are so-called famous for sociology optionals, you know, even these people have not written good answer or correct answer, I would say, on this particular question. So I think it came in 2021. I'm sure, like, you know, opening my. You people have your book, PYQ books. Okay, let me just show you. Write down. Question was, Europe was the first Europe was the first and the only place where modernity emerged. So even there, the answer is starting like that. Though modernity emerged in Europe, but it's not the first place. No, you should not start your answer like this. It was in 2021. Europe was the first and the only place. Okay. So question was like that. Europe was the first and the only place where modernity emerged. Now, you, as I said, the moment you will write down this question, you will have different websites would say though modernity emerged in Europe, it's not the only place and this and that. This is not the way to answer because it's an abstract phenomenon, it's an abstract concept. Modernity is an abstract concept. There is different meanings on it. What is modern cannot be modern for some part. Okay, so you need to quote with thinker. You need to quote where it is being said. So when I would be teaching in advance, I would be bringing the book. Okay, I would not, because you know this classes is on live, so I will not say the names of the book because फिर the content चला जाएगा सबके पास. फिर आप लोगों को क्या मिलेगा? Okay, but there are lot many original books. Okay, there they are telling the answers, exact answer, and I'm sure कि यूपीएससी ने ये क्वेश्चन भी उसी बुक में से पिक किया है. Okay, I will tell you the last name is Lenski. It is on European point. Okay, so they are asking their thing. So we do have a multiple meanings on modernity. So you need to say XYZ thinker. I would say Lenski is arguing on that. Then there are Tony. Then there are Tony Bills. There are lot many thinkers who is talking about that. So once you will give the right references, who argues that you know you cannot have one meaning on modernity, then you should start your answer. So you can also say in this book, it is being argued by this thinker that how even the Europe history needs to be looked at. Because this is a very philosophical question. You cannot just simply tell your viewpoint or comment. You also have to give accurate source to fetch that 2 or 3 marks extra. ओके 10 मार्कर्स में जब इस टॉपिक से क्वेश्चन आता है तो डू अंडरस्टैंड कि अगर हमारे एनसीईआरटी में ही यूरोप का पॉइंट लाया गया देन इट्स क्वाइट कॉमन सेंस एप्लीकेशन ऑफ कॉमन सेंस शुड बी हियर कि हमको यूरोप को अच्छे से समझना पड़ेगा. Then that paragraph is saying why Europe, and then okay, so this was with respect to UPSC question. And then I've just told you very soon I am going to, like, in a 1 month or 2 months, I would be opening, like, you know, my website will be on Dr. Huma Asan. Okay, Huma Asan, something like that. On then you will find all the answers, all the content. Then you people can refer from there. Okay, I think 1 month I will just take to complete it. Okay, so you need to understand art of writing answers. कंटेंट तो कोई भी आपको यू नो दे विल हायर समबडी इन जस्ट 15,000 एंड विल से कि ये एआई टूल्स है, ये सब है, आप बना लो कंटेंट. ओके, बट वो बुक्स ही नहीं समझ में आएगी सबसे पहले. तो आई हैव सीन दैट टॉपिक 1 में से काफी फिलोसफिकल क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं और उसका सोर्स कैन बी ओनली एनसीईआरटी. राइट नाउ व्हाट एनसीईआरटी इज सेइंग उसी को हमको पहले समझना है बेसिक्स के लिए. So UPSC is saying why Europe? So it's simply highlighting the origin of sociology. Just a moment. Write on origin of sociology. तो origin of sociology की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो it is 18th and 19th century. Now, if you know little bit of European or any world history, so during this time, during 18th and 19th century, definitely what was happening, Europe was rapidly changing. Rapidly क्यों changes? बेटा बताओ. You. हाँ. Yes. Rapidly changing because of economy was changing, no? So because economy was changing, है ना? So क्या हो रहा था? Agriculture, simple agriculture was now transforming or changing into factory system, capitalism. तो तीन चार कॉन्सेप्ट एक साथ हम लिख लेंगे. इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन. अभी राइटिंग समझ में आ रही है? Industrialization, capitalism. Okay, industrialization, capitalism. Then yes. Now these were some of the concepts that actually differentiated that are differentiated with friends. These new developments differentiated modern society with previous society. Which type of society? Feudalism. Feudal society or traditional society. ठीक है? And actually, it was that phase only where classical sociologists like Karl Marx, or you can say Auguste Comte, Durkheim, Weber, reflected on these dimensions because society was rapidly changing, and this was happening very first time. Society is always changing. We were Paleolithic. From Paleolithic stage, we went to Mesolithic, changing. Neolithic, changing. What are these? Developments, evolution. So you know about the Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic stage? You, Shalu. You know, no? Right? So it is like the evolution, stone world, right? Then Chalcolithic happened, then the iron came, and this change though is the nature. But what was happening during 18th, 19th century? People were not getting time to get settled. Now relate this with the chaos. What am I asking all of you? Dekho, you people have to now understand your teacher. You need to understand that Huma ma'am, not Huma. बच्ची पिटाई करूंगी मैं. Kidding. You need to understand that, okay, Huma ma'am has this one point. She stopped somewhere. And then she explained that one term with different explanation. इसका मतलब ये हमारे लिए बहुत important है. So here I am stopping and referring to one term, rapid. Okay, the rapid changes were happening. To explain that के changes पहले भी हो रहे थे, because आपको personality test में पूछ सकते हैं ये question. That what was so problematic with the changes or the development that happened during 18th, 19th century, because change was always happening. So can anyone answer me in one line? Yeah. हिंदी में ही बता सकते हो, जस्ट टेल। पहले के चेंजेस में और 18-19 सेंचुरी में जो चेंजेस हो रहे थे उसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है? क्योंकि वो अभी भी है। पैटर्न, सोशियोलॉजी, व्हाट दे रीड, पैटर्न्स, एंड पैटर्न नेवर लाइज। वो आज भी ऐसे ही हो रहा है। मुझे बताओ, एनीवन थिंक? अभी मैंने आंसर दिया। हाँ, यस। तो पहले क्या था, वही आंसर है, दैट अर्लियर द चेंजेस वर ग्रेजुअल, नाउ चेंजेस इज सडन। अब इसका फिलॉसफी समझो, ओके? पैराफ्रेज नहीं करना है सडन और रैपिड, समझना है फिलोसॉफिकल, ओके? दैट व्हाट वाज प्रॉब्लमैटिक इनटू इट। अब मैं आप लोगों को हाइपोथेटिकल सिचुएशन देती हूँ, जस्ट इमेजिन, ओके? इमेजिन ऑल ऑफ यू, I am giving you a hypothetical situation that only people can understand what is the problem with sudden. Now all of you have studied sociology, okay? And you people are doing so good in sociology. You people have given all the tests, right? And you people have given all the tests, everything is there, and getting highest marks. Now it's March, April, and you people are so confident that sociology will be there and it is going to be your plus point. You have cleared prelims also. Now you have 1 month left or 2 months left for your mains. Now UPSC is now making an announcement. Now we are changing optionals, and now there will be no optional paper, but there will be some any other paper. Let's just say ethics का या essay का एक और part, या कुछ भी. Or let me make it more worse. You all are 23, ठीक है? अब यूपीएससी ने बोला कि 22 will be the maximum age can be. What will happen to your mind? What is this chaos? How many of you could actually think devastated हो जाएगा एक यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट के लिए, thinking यार sociology would be my strongest point and this and that. That is why UPSC never do that. They always give you time if they want to change. वो पैटर्न भी चेंज सडनली एक बार ही कर देंगे, अगर सडन भी, तो वो धीरे धीरे आपको ना एक पॉइंट बताते हैं, वो इतने भी क्रूअल नहीं है. So there is a chaos. There is always a chaos in that. In chaos, what happens? You do not know what to do. You will lose your mind. And you know, this is what narcissist people are doing in any relationship. First of all, they will give you a lot of love, lot of affection. Then suddenly they will be lost, gayab. Why? They are giving you this attack so that you will not be able to understand. This is what even there in sociology, when I would be teaching sociology relationship with psychology, I would be explaining all this part. So what was happening at a large level in Europe? People were accustomed and they were settled with one ways of life, right? So how we call ourselves as a society? So there is a difference between society and culture. So society, for example, we all have a culture. That is, what is that? Indian culture. So we all particularly believe in certain types of food, certain types of religion, you know, so we do have this social institution that is making us a culture. Every society has a culture. People often use these terms interchangeably. Okay? So society is different, culture is different. Culture is your way of life, but that comes with a togetherness, like with the we feeling when we are one in a society. So in European society, there were fixed ways of having your livelihood. French Revolution happened. First of all, the major chaos. Now what to do? Who is going to make rules and regulation? There was a chaos. Then we have got democracy, but since it was new, people do not know how to handle it, didn't know how to handle it. So similarly, why I am going such a slow pace with all of you in sociology, taking NCERT first? Because your mind will go into chaos if I'll start with advanced like that. In anthro, in socio, definitely not in anthro, but yes, in socio. So whensoever anything happens suddenly, it is going to give you lot of pain. So in Europe, all the classes were confused because social philosophers can see that dogmatic people are no more religious. They are not thinking for the welfare of society. Now the kings have no, now they didn't have any power. Social life, they do not know what to do. Democracy के बाद अब क्या आया? Industrialization, we got capitalists who got powerful and they all were only thinking about making what? Profit and profit surplus. Now the value of humanity got lost. Social philosophers again got into trouble because they were thinking in back 14th, 15th century. Once we are going to replace religion, once we will going to have science, there will be prosperity. अब तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं हो रहा. So all these social political changes have brought upheaval in society, and that inflicted curiosity, high level of curiosity to thinker's mind. They started looking for solution because this is what the nature of any system is. Your body is a system, right? If you people are deprived of sleep, your body will react. If your body has any problem, for example, you have eaten something wrong, you will have food poison. तो सिस्टम का खूबी यही है कि अगर कुछ गलत होगा तो वो बाहर आएगा, because the nature of system is to function. Similarly, the nature of society is to function. And if there is some problem, then there will be a change. And definitely, let me just tell you one more thing. It is again a philosophical part. Whensoever you people are getting into this tremendous thought process ka changes in your mind, you know, going through a lot of ups and downs of emotions, then there will be a stability. Because पहले शोर होगा फिर शांति आएगी. ये सच है, ये एक philosophically सच बात है. You will see that first you will fight, then you will stop. Because then you will know it. Okay? Similarly, social philosophers were thinking again, now we are again back with the problem. So, we do have to consider Europe only because the major changes were coming from Europe only. It was Europe only which started what? Colonialism also. It was Europe only who decided that we are superior race. That is why it is going to be important for sociology to have good understanding of Europe history. Because here, what is happening? Let's just say in Indian context, East India Company got established in which year or in which century? Right. And then trading got changed in India also. Trading was always there. It is not only in 16th, 17th century happening. It was happening when we were having मेसोपोटामियम सिविलाइजेशन, वैली सिविलाइजेशन में भी हमारा ट्रेडिंग तो हो ही रहा था, but it was not political, it was not to suppress any nation, it was just you do your work, I am doing our work. Okay, so Europe had that thought process to become the leaders of the world. Even today they are saying European Union. Which states are there in Europe? Now अभी तो यूरोप तो अभी ब्रिटेन तो अभी गया ना. Anyway, ठीक है, तो इसको थोड़ा सा आप लोगों को पढ़ना पड़ेगा. So this is how you have to understand. So there was a chaos. Is this clear? Is this now clear? For our past as Indians is closely linked to history of capitalism. Capitalism in the West entitled a worldwide expansion. So it is like this. Okay? ये वाला point लिखेंगे. Now you people can read this point. Capitalism and its global but uneven transformation of societies. So Europeans were definitely having a lot of development, positive, but it was not same for Eastern countries or African. So between the 17th and 19th centuries, an estimated 24 million Africans were enslaved. 11 millions of them survived the journey of the Americans in one of the number of great movements. So they were plucked from the existing homes and cultures, transported around the world in appalling condition to put work in the service of capitalism. Enslavement is a graphic example of how people were caught up in the development of modernity against their will. Okay, so the institution of slavery declined in the 1800, but for us in India, it was in the 1800 that indentured labor was taken in ships by the British for running. And then you can just read all these points, okay? So vigilance, Naipaul, the great English writer who won the Nobel Prize. आपको इस तरीके से यूपीएससी में प्रीलिम्स में क्वेश्चन आ सकता है डेफिनेटली. They said one of the thousands who were taken to lands they had never seen, who died without being able to return. So Govindian is indeed from Madras. I speak to this, you people just can read in on own. Okay. So why European is important? Because it has brought the major transformation. Okay. Now the growth of sociology in India. So in India, it came because of colonialism. Write down. So colonialism was an essential part of modern capitalism and industrialization. The writing of Western sociologists on capitalism and other aspects of modern society are therefore relevant for understanding social changes in India. Yes, definitely it is important. And let's just say what Karl Marx is saying on India. So Karl Marx comments on the impact of the East India Company, bring out the contrast. India, the great workshop of cotton manufacture for the world since immemorial times, now became inundated with English twists and cotton stuffs after its own produce had been excluded from England or only admitted on the most cruel terms. British manufacturers were poured into it at a small and merely nominal duty to the ruin of the native cotton fabrics once so celebrated. So Karl Marx is explaining how Indian societies or Indian cotton industry were being ruined by. Okay, so this is what you people have to understand by English. So this is what he is definitely saying, that how capitalist mode of production is exploitative in nature because inherent characteristics of capitalism is only to make profit and it is unequal in nature. Okay, so sociology in India also had to deal with Western writings, and this is what even you have to see your paper too. Now let me just explain a little bit on Sociology or paper 2. Okay. So when colonials visited India, they were having from the beginning, they had clear mindset, clear agenda to colonize us. For that, what they did, they started studying our culture. So Indo-logical perspective were there. But they were Orientalist in nature. So they read our culture, they read our history just to convince us that we did not have any culture. And it is better that they can rule us better. So what they did, specifically Britishers, for example, William Jones, when he established what? Asiatic Society, where of Bengal, Kolkata, right? So what they wanted? They wanted to portray India's image as static, unchanging, unreflective. So in India, sociology emerged with some of the accidental anthropologists. In India, it was anthropology, then we got sociology. L.K. Krishna Iyer, S.C. Roy, they were accidental anthropologists. Accidental means that they have been hired by British officials to get data on tribals so that they can rule them better. And then Max Muller is there, who is studying Indian religion. W.H.R. River is there. So these people, Barrier Elvin, these people are studying Indian culture and people not to tell some social facts but to colonize us. So they started what? They started reshaping our history, which was first got attacked by G.S. Ghure. Then later on, Eamon Srinivas and other thinkers like Desai. So here in this point, what they are saying, that these ideas were expressed both in the accounts of colonial officials as well Western scholars. For many of them, Indian society was a construct to Western society. So they just want to portray us as unchanging. Then most of the Indian scholars proved this theory as wrong. Okay? You people can write down in your notes, in your book, because as I have said, again, I'm repeating it, that paper 1 में you will not have any problem, I would say. और यही ज़्यादातर बच्चे ऐसा ही सोचते हैं that from topic 1, topic 4 you will find lot of content. और sociology में content बहुत easily available भी है, but you need to be very cautious. Okay, so application is there in paper 2. You may find it very easy to understand, but then clarity अगर नहीं है तो problem होगा. So please write down. Okay, not once, every time we are getting question on this theme, that how West had portrayed Indian society. Clear? So in keeping with contemporary Victorian evolutionary ideas, Western writers saw in the Indian village as remnant or survival from what was called the infancy of society. They saw in 19th century India the past of European society. Yet another evidence of the colonial heritage of countries like India is the distinction often made between sociology and social anthropology. Standard Western textbook definition of sociology is the study of human groups and societies, giving particular emphasis to the analysis of industrialized world. A standard Western definition of social anthropology would be the study of simple societies of non-Western and therefore other cultures. In India, the story is quite different. In a country such as India, with its size and diversity, regional, linguistic, religious, sectarian, and ethnic, and between rural and urban areas, there are myriad others. In a culture and society such as India, the other can be encountered literally next door. That we have diversity. Okay. Furthermore, social anthropology in India moved gradually from a preoccupation with the study of primitive people to the study of peace and so on. So no rigid divide exists between sociology and social anthropology in India. Do write down this. That's why often husbands ask that how come she is anthropologist and social culture, anthropologist and sociologist. So as A.L. Korriber argues that social anthropology and sociology are like twin sisters. So I have worked on caste. My research is on caste. So I am sociologist and also social cultural anthropologist because I did ethnographic study on caste in India. Okay, तो और इसमें से बार बार क्वेश्चन आता है. I think this year also we have got this question. Sociology and social anthropology. So the scope you will see here. The next point, the scope of sociology. The scope of sociological study is extremely wide. Okay, write on this. It can focus its analysis on interaction between individuals, such as that of social shopkeeper, customer, and then also at macro level, like national issues such as unemployment, caste conflict. So the scope is really, really, really wide. You can say vast. So what defines the discipline of sociology is therefore not what it studies, family, or chosen how it studies a chosen field. So sociology is one of a group of social sciences which also includes anthropology, economics, politics, science, and history. That is why the scope of sociology is vast. The divisions among the various social sciences are not clear cut and all share certain range of common interests. That is why the next topic will be showing how they are different. Now this you people will read sociology and economics. So economics are majorly concerned with production, resources, okay? But here what we are understanding in sociology, we are understanding that how your economic behavior is there in society. Okay, so for us, we are not interested in formalistic point. What is GST? What is trade and services? What is tertiary sector? What is primary sector? Okay, which type of goods are having? We are not interested in that. So what we are interested in then? To understand how economy is a part of other social institutions as well. So the caste system is also dealing with occupation. Now, how this occupation, how your economy is embedded in rituals, in religion. So we are interested in knowing economic behavior. Okay? So the sociological approach looks at economic behavior in a broader context of social norms, values, and interests. So the corporate sector managers are aware of this. The large investment in the advertisement industry is directly linked to the reshaped lifestyle. So you would see proper advertisement का example दिया हुआ है यहाँ पे. If I want to get into business, my economy is going to be dependent on advertisement. So in advertisement, whom we are influencing? Individuals. Now, just think on your own, how many of you have taken sociology optional by watching advertisements? She has. She is smiling. How many of you have seen my lectures before opting? Lectures किस किसने देखे थे? सच सच, don't lie. Thanks. My honor. हो सकता है वो झूठ बोला हो उसने. वर्ड माउथ पब्लिसिटी पे क्या बिलीव कर सकते हैं, बट हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव लाइक जस्ट गॉन थ्रू, जैसे कोई भी एडवर्टीजमेंट, सच सच कोई भी नहीं है, सारे क्रिटिकल है, वाह वेरी नाइस देन। चलो मेरा थोड़ा इमोशंस आ गया होगा तो अच्छा, अब ये बताओ कितने लोगों ने जस्ट बाय लुकिंग एट सम एड बाय समथिंग? We do that, right? We all do that. Do you know that? And this is a very simple question and simple framework which I am giving. You think of any business, are they not doing advertisement? They are. They spend lot of their wealth or money in advertisement. So it is economy, but it is related with social behavior, not with people. So you attract people. So as a sociologist, I'm going to understand economic behavior. So how many of you know that we are still actually one of the leading tea companies is still British? Hindustan Lever? It's not Hindustan Lever, but advertisement Hindustan Lever. So advertisement is very fake. If it was fake, it is also going to fake. But you can't do business without having advertisement also, because it reaches masses. So contemporary, this book or this content is explaining that you will do the business, and now again I would say political behavior, it is same. So I have to understand politics and society. You can actually write and analyze voting pattern or voting behavior just by having advertisements. He or me, he or anyone, maybe not suitable for even being a clerk, but then he or she become ministers or prime ministers or this and that. Power of प्रचार. I was reading one somewhere on auto, प्रचार नहीं तो व्यापार नहीं. प्रचार बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, और जो प्रचारिक होते हैं लोग, जो प्रचार करते हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं? वो इमोशंस के साथ तो खेल रहे हैं. नहीं तो अब समझ में आया. It is related to economy. So what actually happened? Why people have got? And then you should read one book, Charles Duhigg work. I'm forgetting the name, but Charles Duhigg, write down the name. You people can read this novel. Charles Duhigg is explaining the power of advertisement in that book. Forgetting the novel name, but you people can write down Charles Duhigg. Okay? Yeah, Charles Duhigg. I'm forgetting that advertiser name, but Power of Habit. Maybe that book was named The Power of Habit. So there he is explaining what happened. So what happened in America, in some country, I'm just telling you vaguely, ठीक है? Country I do not know, but it was America, I think. So एक अमेरिका कैपिटलिस्ट ने, उसने क्या किया? ही दो एग्जाम्पल है उसमें which actually left a very huge impression when I was start. मैंने वही बुक बचपन कैसे वो बुक पिक कर ली थी randomly. Okay, so उसमें एक चीज लिखी हुई थी that what was happening, soldiers were not doing paste and they were having very problem in of their oral hygiene ka, right? So they wanted them to do the brush, something like that. So and he is a leading advertiser, और वो इतना बहुत ही एक्सपेंसिव और बहुत ही रिच है. अभी आई डू नॉट नो जिंदा है कि क्या. So he always used to add the what he used to do कि वो ना आइडिया को सेल करता था. So what he did कि ठीक है भाई, टूथपेस्ट I will make it like very popular and everybody is going to use it. So what he said, he actually relate an idea with emotion, and what he said, that you are going to have a smile like Cleopatra or something. She is very beautiful lady or something, white teeth. People started doing brushing. ठीक है, एक उन्होंने कुछ एक्सप्लेन बताया एंड देन ही सेड कि उस टूथपेस्ट में देयर वाज नो फ्लेवर, फ्रेशनेस नहीं थी एंड ही वाज सेइंग दैट ऑल ही वांटेड टू स्टिक और डेवलप हैबिट. So he said that what he did, he said because when he used to do research for advertisement, he used to call a team, psychologists and this and that. So uska idea ये था that he has to just he need to develop an habit. Oh, sorry, a habit. So what he used to say that he said that please add some freshness into this paste. People started doing brush, and then nowadays we know that even with neem ka bark, we can have very good teeth, but datul, yeah. So we can have that. Even with sarson ka oil, putting some namak, salt or haldi, you can actually have cleaning. But we all are now addicted to toothpaste. I am also. Even we know कि ये alternative है. Another very good example he had given in that novel with air freshener. So there was a lady who built एक कंपनी, उन्होंने एयर फ्रेशनर बनाया, चल नहीं रहा था एंड देन अगेन ही वेंट टू दैट एडवर्टाइजर. उन्होंने कहा कि इसको बेचना है, करो कुछ. सो ही कुड नॉट डू एनीथिंग. देन ही इसमें रिसर्च में उसने क्या किया, उसने सैंडविच मेथड अप्लाई करा. व्हाट इज सैंडविच मेथड? he made an advertisement जहाँ पे एक लेडी उठती है और अपना पूरा घर क्लीन करती है. क्लीन करने के बाद वो स्प्रे करती है. So what he did, he attached with a regular habit. तो एक existing habit है, by default लड़कियों को क्लीनिंग की आदत होती है, ठीक है. And now they are doing, so they will add an idea. तो वो मार्केट से जल्दी जल्दी बिकने लगा एयर फ्रेशनर. एंड नाउ इवन all of us, मैं भी यही करती हूँ. After cleaning the room, I want some good fragrance. So you are attaching your senses. So this is the power of advertisement. It is related to economy, but the power of advertisement. समझ में आया अभी? So you may think that it's a very important, like, you know, one small paragraph in NCERT, but see how in depth it is. This was a mistake, or this is a mistake which UPSC aspirants are doing with NCERT, not only in sociology, but with all NCERTs. ठीक है, समझ में आ रहा है ना? So this is what you have to see. So they define the scope of economics, help in facilitating the development as highly focused, coherent discipline. Sociologists often envy the economics for the precisation of their terminology. So they both are interdependent. Okay, and like बाद में हम इसको और deeper way में पढ़ेंगे. Okay, so yet economics' predictive abilities often suffer precisely because of their neglect of individual behavior, cultural norms, and so on. So demonetization is a perfect example of economy, which was, like, you know, decision taken by in the economical, it was the economical decision, but it has huge impact. ठीक है? COVID-19 for me it was a scam. ये 19 सिचुएशन इट वाज अ स्कैम. पूरी दुनिया को डिजिटल इकोनॉमी बनाना था, ठीक है, तो उसको रोका by creating whatsoever. For me it is, I can have my opinion, right? So for me it is, आप मैंने I did not even have that, वो क्या था, शॉट्स या वैक्सीनेशन. मैं तो नहीं मरी, जिंदा हूँ. आपने भी नहीं? गुड. ओके, सो एनी हाउ अब क्या हुआ है, डिजिटल इकोनॉमी हो गई है. हाउ डिफिकल्ट इट वॉज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ दिस हाइब्रिड मोड. ये जो हाइब्रिड मोड है, वॉज इट देयर? हाउ पैथेटिक इट वॉज फॉर अ मदर लाइक मी टेलिंग एंड गिविंग फोन टू माई डॉटर टू स्टडी, क्योंकि ऑनलाइन क्लासेस हो रही थी. एंड नाउ व्हाट टू डू? आई डोंट हैव टेलीविजन एट माई होम, but I had to give her iPhone and this iPad and all. Now she's addicted. You need to adapt also, otherwise आप survive नहीं कर पाओगे. So everything is interconnected. I didn't even have smartphone. I did have that keypad का phone, but now I'm also having smartphone. Life अपनी खुद की है ही नहीं. अंबानी अडानी आ जाएंगे हमेशा. Not अडानी, but अंबानी की फैमिली बहुत obsessed है. You know, मुझे लगता है वो हमेशा आ जाते हैं. यूट्यूब ओपन करते ही उनकी पूरी कोई ना कोई फैमिली आ जाती है. दे आर वेरी ऑब्सेस्ड फीमेल्स. उनको अब क्या, हम हीरोइन भी बनेंगे, हम सब कुछ बनेंगे, राइट? So that is what happening here. I don't want you to see it. They want me to see it. अब फोन आएगा तो अब इंसान ही है, अभी तो भगवान तो बने ही नहीं है अभी, कंट्रोल कर लेंगे डिजायर्स पे, फिर देखेंगे ही, राइट? सो इट वाज एक्चुअली फॉर मी, इट वाज रियली अ बैड स्कैम, जहां पे आपको सबको डिजिटलाइज करना था. यू नीडेड टू हैव ब्रॉडर कस्टमर्स. ओके. Cultural unification in what terms? Terms like you mentioned कि आपका opinion जैसे कह रहा है कि वो digitalize करना था तो economy को, but cultural unification भी तो cultural unification like the younger generation, मेरे से जो छोटे और हैं, उनको मैं देख रहा हूँ western philosophy या western culture का totally adopt करके रखे जिसका कोई अर्थ नहीं है. तो वो तो इम्पैक्ट आएगा ही ना, जेनजीज वगैरह ये सब. हाँ, वो सब है, बिल्कुल है तो इकोनॉमी, लेकिन उससे कैसे कल्चर भी आ रहा है, कैसे पॉलिटी भी चेंज हो रही है, कुछ पॉजिटिव एस्पेक्ट्स भी हैं. आई वुड नॉट से डिजिटल इकोनॉमी, हाईली डिजिटल इकोनॉमी से कुछ पॉजिटिव एस्पेक्ट्स भी है. नाउ इंडियन, फॉर एग्जांपल, ये पैलेस्टीन में जो हुआ था, तो पीपल आर सेइंग कि नहीं गलत है. ओवरऑल हम कह रहे हैं कि नहीं गलत हो रहा है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अभी यूएस में कोई मुस्लिम जीता भी है मेयर, राइट? सो इट इज ऑल्सो अ रिफ्लेक्शन दैट पीपल, हाँ, मेयर, न्यूयॉर्क का मेयर, राइट? तो ये सब एक कुछ पॉजिटिव पार्ट भी है, बट नेगेटिव मेरे हिसाब से ज्यादा है, बिकॉज एक छोटा बच्चे को नहीं डिफरेंशिएशन करना आएगा. सो yesterday only my sister called me up to home, my elder sister, since I'm very busy and I not have time to see what is happening. So she was so disturbed. My daughter had put some picture on Instagram, and I was so worried कि Instagram कैसे उसको चलाना आता है. And then she said कि उसमें ऐसी picture, it's not very safe and all that. See, it is another level ka threat nowadays. We know that how pedophiles are there. They are looking for teenagers only, male or female. आज ना लड़का सेफ है ना लड़की सेफ है आज के टाइम में. So and teenagers are like growing, so they are being hormonal, so they want to get into it. तो वो pictures डालेंगे, वो little understanding they have कि it can be dangerous. ओके, तो ये बट हम डिजिटल इकोनॉमी में कभी और बात करेंगे, बट आई होप यू पीपल हैव अंडरस्टूड रिलेशनशिप. सिमिलरली, प्लीज गेट इनटू इट एंड अंडरस्टैंड द रिलेशनशिप. फॉर एग्जांपल, यहाँ पे पियर बोर्डो का पॉइंट है, डू रीड दैट. So we need to put forward an economy of happiness which would take note of all the profits, individual and collective, material and symbolic, associated with activity. Okay, so ये आप थोड़ा समझ लीजिएगा. Our true economic science would look at all cost of the economy, not only at the cost that corporation are concerned, but also at the crime, suicide, and so on. Then similarly, we will see sociology and political science, and do read this part also here. So political science is looking into conventional political science, okay? Political theory, government administration. But when we are understanding, so we are understanding ideas on the government from Plato to Marx. Okay, so sociology is devoted to the study of all aspects of society, whereas conventional political science, they are very much interested in power, but we are going to understand its impact. So sociology long shared similar interest of research with both economics and polity. Industrialization हुआ तो ही तो sociology आई. Then sociology and history. So you cannot understand present society without going back into the history. In fact, UPSC ने 20 marks का question पूछा था. History without sociology is rootless, and sociology without history is fruitless, something like that. इस साल नहीं पूछा है, not this year. Not this year. Repeat हो सकता है, but rootless and fruitless नहीं पूछा. Okay, so there is a close, definitely relationship with history and sociology, but the methodology are different of doing research. Same with sociology and psychology. So yes, sociologists are like psychologists too, because they need to understand individual minds. Okay, so when you get into the research, so I do remember when I got into my MPhil, so the first training which we have got, it was from psychology only. That how you will understand people behavior, how you need to always have spike character. You cannot reveal your identity even when you are doing research or any social experimentation. So that can only happen when you do have some social psychological skills. So I've been trained, like in JNU, you get such trainings in different theoretical part. I do not know in other colleges. Yes, in Harvard, in Oxford, उनका और precise skills होते हैं. Okay, so you do have to understand individual's point. Then after understanding individual, then you look for the macro background, how they are talking, gestures, this and that. Okay, so it is like that. So psychology, if I would say, is a discipline that is more interested in knowing what is going on in individual head. Sociology is borrowing definitely from psychology, but not exactly like that. For example, when Imail Durkheim had work on suicide, तो ये साइकोलॉजिकल फिनोमिना ही था बहुत टाइम तक, और उन्होंने एक्सप्लेन करा कि इंडिविजुअल ये एक्शन कर तो रहा है, लेकिन उसका रीजन क्या है. So it's a reason is social action. So this is what you, if you people can understand this, definitely you will always going to take good decision. How? When you know what is going on in your psyche, आपके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है, ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले तो अपने आप को समझाओ. इसके लिए आपका बिल्कुल एथिक्स रिलेटेड है. You know, in your ethics paper, there is emotional intelligence. How many of you know? Daniel Bell, I think, if I'm not wrong. Who is? Huh? Daniel Goleman. Yes, not Bell. Daniel Bell is someone else. Daniel Goleman. He is explaining emotional intelligence. How, Prince, you can be emotional intelligence according to Daniel Goleman. क्या बोला उन्होंने? Since you have read. Who is from Plutus IAS here? कौन है Plutus IAS से? कोई नहीं है. I would be. You are from Plutus IAS. I would be teaching ethics paper. ठीक है, तो you make sure अगर you will also get into it. हाँ. Anyone else? Emotional intelligence. How you can have emotional intelligence according to that one word? Prince, बताओ क्या बोल रहे हैं वो? Emotional intelligent कैसे हो सकते हो? क्या करना होगा? अच्छा, who consider themselves as very emotional person? Good. See, it is not at all bad to be not known as emotional. You need to be emotional. But the point here is you always have to see that nobody should take leverages on your emotions. You know, for example, your emotions should be there. You can, but you should have power to take it back. You can bestow all your love and affection. It's fine. But if somebody is doing wrong, then you should also take it back. That can only happen if you are self-aware, if you're emotionally intelligent. Otherwise, what you will become? You will become a prey to the predators. They will use you to the extent that you will empty. You will get empty emotionally, psychologically, anyway. And don't you dare to think that it happens only with an outsider. This happens with your family members also. Because it is always a power dynamics between two people. So you need to be emotionally intelligent. कहाँ तक कितना इमोशन देना है, कब वापस रखना है, कब नहीं करना है, और वो तभी होगा जब you are mentally fit, emotionally intelligent. It is not at all wrong to recognize psychologically that you are emotional. Emotions तो होंगे ही, तो chemical substances है, chemicals ही तो है ना. आपके pituitary glands, different type of glands are working. उसको तो आप control नहीं कर सकते. What you can control then? Awareness. Yes, I am being emotional. Keep, there's one line. Fake it till you make it. Fake करो, नहीं हूं मैं emotional intelligent. होता है, work करेगा. Automatically, you will see that your heart will be crying inside. आपके एक दो आंसू से ज्यादा आंसू निकलेंगे नहीं. और कभी आप बहुत ज्यादा हर्ट हो, तो थोड़ा रोगे उसके बाद ये नॉर्मल. So the moment I would say, and I would say to females particularly, the only idea which males consider themselves as superior, that they are emotionally intelligent or emotionally strong, it's only the idea they keep on moving. वो घर पे बंद नहीं हो जाते, वो बाहर जाएंगे ही, काम करेंगे ही, दोस्तों से मिलेंगे ही, तो धीरे धीरे वो खत्म हो जाता है. नाउ दिस इज अगेन हैपनिंग विथ फीमेल्स टू. ठीक है, बाद में इसमें बात करेंगे फैमिली मैरिज किनशिप में. इट्स ओनली बिकॉज ऑफ दिस साइकोलॉजिकल चेंजेस विच इज हैपनिंग, so the institution of marriage or family is now breaking. ठीक है, बाद में इसमें बात करेंगे. So can you see that how as a sociologist I am linking talking about psychology? So how it is creating societal changes? I am not interested to know that what diseases you people are having. Okay, psychologically क्या stress है क्या, but social conditions जिसके वजह से psychologically आप ऐसे react करोगे या respond करोगे. Okay, so this is one part. Just read it. Okay, then sociology and anthropology. So sociology and social anthropology they are like twin sisters only. They all are looking into the culture, social institutions, how culture is different from society, what is society, what is civilization, and then we are talking about the cultural aspects. Okay, so when we were growing, देखो, I'll just explain this. Because this is the same topic I have just today explained to anthro students. So what even social culture, see, social cultural anthropology and sociology are almost same. We are understanding culture, society, social groups, social stratification, social institutions. So you people do not have to go so deeper. Cell simplicity, वो biological का part आ जाता है. You just understand we are living in a social group. ठीक है? So this is your world. First of all, we are living as individuals. Paleolithic stage, hunter and gatherer stage, let's just say. So there is no rules and regulations. Okay. So in kinship, आप लोग भी यही पढ़ोगे. This symbol is for female. This symbol is for male. ठीक है? X X X Y. Now यहाँ पे हम देखेंगे there was only used to be alpha male used to control all the females. So the no society है, कुछ भी नहीं था. फिर थोड़ा हम आगे बढ़े. Let's just say Mesolithic laws बनाए हमने. यहाँ पे हमने family structure बनाया. Male and female and their children, male and female their children. Now they will not mate with each other. Okay, so for them we will look for the other partners. So धीरे धीरे ये group बढ़ेगा. तो जैसे जैसे families बढ़ेगी, we'll have the clan, right? Now clan, phratry, then the moiety, then the tribe, and then we get the society, then the nation. This is how we have moved from Paleolithic to middle stage. जब मैं आपको पढ़ाऊंगी तो deeper I will explain the evolution of society. अभी आपको सिर्फ इतना पढ़ना है. Okay, anthro में we go so deep. Okay, so now जैसी social group होगा, then there will be a stratification. What is social stratification? Now on the globe, the way West have considered themselves as superior and considered East as inferior, so they have divided. So on some ideologies, if we are dividing, it is social stratification. Okay, so caste is a form of social stratification. Any other stratification? Gender, class, race, जहां पे हम लोगों को डिवाइड करते रहते हैं, that is stratification. Okay, अब यहाँ पे we will see ethnocentrism. क्या concept है? Ethnocentrism is a concept in which we are considered, it is an attitude that Indian race is superior race and all other race is inferior. So it is an attitude. Cultural relativism, it is opposite to ethnocentrism. समझ में आ रहा है? बहुत ज्यादा fast तो नहीं है. Cultural relativism is what? That everyone has their own culture. Then you should be knowing some points. What are these? Religion, economy, polity. These are social institutions. Okay? But हम ये बहुत deep पढ़ेंगे next chapter में. So I'm not going that deeper here. Basic concepts actually. So social anthropology is also interested in that only. So both are same. Okay? For example, when social cultural anthropologists are talking about, they are actually telling evolution of society. So Henry Maine, Morgan, these people are telling how society is evolving. So earlier we were barbaric. And before barbaric, we were savage. And then we become civilized. So you people have to read this as well. Okay? I would say do read sociology and social anthropology from this. Though I will explain, जब मैं आप लोगों को एडवांस पढ़ाऊंगी तो डेफिनेटली बहुत डीपर पढ़ाना है मुझे. आप लोग एक रीडिंग कर लीजिएगा इसको. Okay? So finally we are done with this chapter, chapter 1. Tomorrow I would be reading next chapter. No, tomorrow I need to read your essays, no? So tomorrow not, on Monday I'll come up with second chapter. Basic concept बड़ी quickly हम खत्म करेंगे. You can see अब आपका first chapter का base बन गया है. Other chapters are not that difficult. So I would be completing in one Monday, 1 or 2 days like that. Okay, you can see to complete your first chapter I have almost taken 4 days. Okay, is this now clear? All right. So on Monday, next chapter we'll discuss.